Have a Yeager Meister with Meister Yeager as he talks about working with umpires behind the plate.
I also want to make sure that the umpire's got the best possible view of the strike zone, because if I take the strike zone away from him, I'm taking pitches away from my pitcher.
Steve Yeager, former Dodger catching great.
And Clark is coming to the plate. The throw to Yeager, who is crushed and held onto the ball. A magnificent play by Steve Yeager. Oh, what a gutsy play.
Steve Yeager played in 3 World Series, 1974, 77, 78, and again in 1981.
Ball is hit well to left. Good ball. Way back there.
In the 81 series against the New York Yankees, he shared the World Series MVP award with teammates Pedro Guerrero and Ron Cey. We caught up with Steve talking about working with umpires as a catcher.
It's just respect, and you're working together, because my job as a catcher is to try to make his job easier. And some of the ways that I do that is just by receiving the ball. The less movement that I have as a catcher, the better strike zone he sees, the more pitches he can call right, the more pitches I get from my pitcher, and the happier it is.
Steve continues his instruction with former National League umpire John McSherry behind him at home plate in Dodger Stadium.
Ah! Throw it back now. Let's go.
Pretty good pitch, huh?
Down and in.
One of the things that can help an umpire a great deal is for a catcher to learn how to catch the ball properly by means of moving the left arm to receive a ball. I mean, your left elbow works as a shock absorber on a car. It's here, it's there, it's here, it's there. And if I just move my left arm, I'm not blocking the view of this umpire. If I move my upper body here and lunge and catch balls, and I'm moving all over the place, it makes his job a lot more difficult. So what I want to do as a catcher is I want to get as many pitches as I can for my pitcher, and I also want to make sure that the umpire's got the best possible view of the strike zone, because if I take the strike zone away from him, I'm taking pitches away from my pitcher.
Let's just take some pitches. Ball! Ball! Ball's up high, obviously above the zone. Hang on! Ball 2! Which is inside now. Ball 2!
I tried to frame that one. I tried to buy one.
A lot of times what happens with an umpire, although that's fairly subtle there, if the catcher reaches up and pulls a pitch, or pulls it outside in, which you see a lot, that causes the umpire to react like, whoops, something happened. And that oftentimes causes the pitch to be called a ball. Sometimes it'll be gotten away with to be a strike, but most of the time it causes the pitch to be called a ball because it looks like something's wrong.
The hitter and catcher is going to try to fool the umpire. We're going to see how well we can do it and get away with it, and see how much Big John over here is concentrating, which is the hardest thing in the world to do, is concentrate on calling balls and strikes. Right, John?
That's what it is.
How's your family, John?
Wonderful.
Okay, you
Here
ready?
it comes.
Ball! I'm going to make it a little more difficult for John, because I'm going to move totally inside on this hitter, and I'm going to take away that little bit of vision here. So I want to make his job harder, which is something I don't want to do as a catcher. But some catchers still do it. They feel they have to get in here, and really what he's doing, he's blocking the view from the umpire.
If I take this pitch and where I was taking the others, look where I am. I'm right behind Steve's head. Any movement at all by him blocks my view of the pitch. So what I have to do now is, I'm going to try and get a better look. And what we try to do to get a better look, I try to get myself in here. A problem that can occur, though, suppose you have a hitter crowding the plate. Come on in on the plate. Now, I've got the hitter, the catcher, and everybody blocking me out. I've got to figure something out. So what you try to do, of course, I try to do, is come up a little higher. It's important to try to see the ball all the way in. A lot of people often tell you, why don't you go to the outside part of the plate? You can't go out here over on the other shoulder, because although you got a good view of the plate, it's taking away the most important things you have to see. His glove is right there on the inside part of the plate. The hitter, the check swing, the ball hitting him is right there. I've got to have a good look at that side of the plate. And the only way I can do that is to be over here. So I have to adjust over here somehow so that I can see that. Going to the other side of the plate is the worst mistake you can make. Hang on!
Time!
I always felt that if I could handle the pitcher and keep the pitcher from doing things to keep the umpire off the pitcher. A lot of times the pitcher will make a pitch, and it's a borderline questionable pitch, and he calls it a ball. And now the pitcher's going to put down his head, he's going to yell and scream back and forth from the mound to home plate. What good does that do? All it does is make somebody unhappy, and it's the guy that's calling balls and strikes. You want to keep him as happy as you possibly can. So why irritate him? He's having a hard enough time the way it is, especially if a pitcher's not around the plate. If a guy's throwing a ball and he's always 3-1, 2-1, 3-2 on the hitter, I mean, if he misses the pitch, big deal. It's a shock to all of us, including the catcher, because he finally threw one over the plate. Why shouldn't you miss that pitch, you know? Say, well, why should I get mad at you for missing it if I haven't found the strike zone all night? But I try to control the pitcher. If I can keep the pitcher's mouth quiet and keep him on the mound, I can handle the guy behind me because I've had a conversation with him. I've had a relationship with him already for a few innings. And I've got more chance and a better opportunity of calming him down than the pitcher does when they want to get an argument back and forth. And it's just like guys on the bench. I can't control the guys on the bench. I can help control the pitcher. And that's what I'm there for.
Ball!
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh, right there.
Yeager said chili before the game. He's having gas problems. All right. High two! There's a pitch that's a strike, and he turned it into a box of tomatoes.
Just like the catchers today.
Heat!
Just like old times.
Yeah. Close pitch. We don't call those. All right.
I did my best.
Ball three. Ooh. Close pitch, and there's your argument type pitch.